Dear Acharya Pranam, having read chapters and watched a few videos of Jiddu Krishnamurti, it is clearly seen how condition dependent I had been. So mind is relatively free. There is no question and I don't have questions to ask to. There is no confusion and I don't have questions to ask to. In chapter 2, he questions, can you honestly, seriously bring yourself to find out whether you are free from authority? It needs tremendous authority. It needs tremendous inquiry into yourself, great awareness. From that clarity comes a totally different kind of action, an action that is not fragmentary, it is a total action. So, unquote. Acharyaji, being in attention and living simply is enough. What do I do or inquire now? Simply relax. Thank you, Acharyaji. With love, Parmeshwari. I'll reread the quote for you. Can you honestly, seriously bring yourself to find out whether you are free from authority? It needs tremendous inquiry into yourself, great awareness. From that clarity comes a totally different kind of action. An action that is not fragmentary, it is a total action. And she's saying, Acharyaji, being in attention and living simply is enough. What do I do or inquire now? Simply relax. And this is in context of her observation that her mind is relatively free. There is no confusion and there aren't many questions to ask. You know, Parmeshwari, in the mathematics books, in school, in university, there used to be chapters. Obviously, the books have chapters. And the chapters have theories, theorems, proofs, illustrations, examples. To begin with. And one goes through the chapter. One dwells on the theorems. One reads the proofs. One looks at the solved examples. And one feels that one has totally grasped the subject, right? I've totally understood how the thing is beginning, and how one is coming to the various formulae and what are the various forms and versions of the same formula. And the chapter has also told me what are the applications of the formula. And one feels reasonably confident that one is now a master of the subject, right? And then after all the theory and the illustrations, are the unsolved problems, the questions. Is that not a regular format in mathematics, physics, rather in most of the subjects? No? So when you go through the description, the detailing, you start feeling as if you have fully comprehended. Till you come to the unsolved questions. Now you will be tested. And now the unsolved questions too are in 4 sections, A, B, C and D. And section A contains the easiest ones. And B slightly tougher. C quite tough. D unsolvable. D contains questions that do not pertain directly to this chapter. D contains questions that are coming from the knowledge that you have accumulated from various chapters, various books. The questions might even involve interdisciplinary understanding. So get down to the questions, Parameshwari, and then you will know whether understanding and peace are really there. I pray that they are there. I would be most delighted if you say that you have been able to crack all the problems. It's easier to mug up theory, right? The application is what tests you really. In my time, there used to be the board examinations and the IIT joint entrance exam, the JEE. And both would be based on nearly the same syllabus. The class 12th board syllabus, let's say in mathematics or physics, would be almost the same as the class 12th JEE syllabus. But the boards would involve a lot of theory. So the question paper would ask you about concepts. The question paper would say, describe a given experiment and what does it prove. And you could mug up the experiment and write down and, What does the slit experiment prove in physics? Which experiment am I talking about? Yes. Or the Newton's rings, for that matter. And you can fully mug the whole thing up and reproduce what you have mugged up on the answer sheet. And you will get almost full marks. You can score 97 in the physics paper. And then comes the JEE. Nobody will ask you for any bit of concept or theory. Nobody will ask you the derivation of a formula. They'll give you a real life problem. JEE used to be really a tough exam. I'm talking of the mid-90s. I hear that it has been greatly diluted now, but those days were different. Now in the JEE, nobody is asking for theory. They are saying solve the problem. If you can solve it, then you have understood. If you cannot solve it, then all your theory and all your concepts and all your learning is useless. And many of those problems would be unthinkable. It would appear as if those problems have been unnecessarily constructed. They were not daily or real life problems. Problematic situations were discovered and presented to the student to examine and answer. Are you getting it? Easy problems would not be present in the JEE paper at all. Tough problems were digged out, unearthed from somewhere and kept in front of the student. And that's what tested his understanding. So Parmeshwari, beneath the misleading simplicity of the so-called daily life, lie the unsolved problems and unanswered questions. Most people do not even face those problems because those problems lie deep down in the psyche. On the surface are only trivial issues, and with even superficial understanding you can answer those superficial issues, like in the board exams. You can crack the board physics paper or maths paper even if your understanding is not really sharp. But if you really want to test yourself, then go deep into your psyche and the collective psyche of mankind and see what real issues lie hidden there. Face them, try answering them. I would be glad if you can answer them. I would be equally glad if you cannot answer them, because if you cannot answer them, you will discover that a lot more needs to be learned, and that would be helpful. The genuine student looks for the tougher and the toughest questions because he wants to ensure that his understanding is complete. If he has solved all the problems from one book, then he actively looks around for another unexplored book which contains more problems, and he wants to try his hand at newer kind of problems, more difficult problems. He says, if my understanding has any depth, then I should be able to tackle any problem. And if you want to test your understanding, that's what you should do. I'm not asking you to create problems, please. I'm asking you to unearth problems, because burying problems is what makes them long lasting. So dig them up, dig them out, and tackle them. That would be annoying. If a problem is lying hidden and buried, why should one unnecessarily dig it up? As they say, why are you digging old graves? One says, one is not merely digging out problems. One feels as if one is really creating problems, but no, that is necessary. Whatsoever lies unresolved in your life is an opportunity for you to grow. Do not discard or hide it. Even if it remains hidden to your conscious view, actively explore it, look for it. And then wrestle with it. Let's see who wins. Either way, you win. If you win, you win. Even if you lose, it's you who wins, Parmeshwari. So do fight that battle.